So while evaluation, continuing on the evaluation and your assessment of your concept, right. So it's also, we discussed about go no go. In addition to your risk payoff metrics, we can also do something called concept testing, right. It's a part of the evaluation process. So your, this is concept testing is somewhat a pre-screening process before we go to execution or development stage. Here we are trying to do pre-screening. So objective is twofold. One is your identify very poor concept and eliminate it. Okay. So the other one is in concept testing, estimate. So estimation, see, you cannot make ideal estimation or perfect estimations in initial stages, right. So this is your, you can only estimate at a high level or rough level. So let's say you ask, usually one of the other way to estimate is by questions on intention to use. Say I want to launch a new smartphone. So I'll ask questions to potential customers, or I will do a, as we discussed about your market survey, you do market research or a survey from potential customers whether they want to buy that product. Let's say I am launching this new smartphone, will you buy this product? So what would be the typically answer? You make it a 5-point scale. The responses could be one of those 5 points. Let's say I will definitely buy, okay, or probably I will buy. As someone will say I may or may not buy. That's a little bit indifferent. So probably I will not buy. The last is your definitely I will not buy, right. If you put them on scale, let's say the definitely buy is at 5, probably buy at 4, may buy at 3, not likely to buy at 2, definitely not buying is 1. So which is your target customer, or who is likely to be your user? It's only the first two categories. So we will track only, we will follow them and then ask what is their choices and so on. You will further interview or discuss only the first two categories, which are definitely buy and probably buy. You can give different weightage into those outcomes. Let's say the definitely buy is 5, probably buy is 4, or any other scale that you, the company decides, right. When we ask these questions, what are the different ways to ask this question? So how do we ask those questions, right? So this buyer buying intention questions. One of the concept testing format is your just give verbal description of the product and explain its benefits, what the product is about and what you are likely to get. Let's say for example here you want to launch a new diet soft drink. So you can mention something like, here is a tasty sparkling beverage that quenches thirst, refreshes and makes gives some delightful flavor, blend of orange or lime. It helps you control weight by reducing the craving for sweet and between meal snacks and all that, right. It is a comes in 240 ml cans and 500 ml bottles, cost about 40 rupees or 50 rupees. You make that clear description. Let's say we ask two basic questions in terms of buyer intention. How do you find this product? Is it similar to existing products or different? Then the choices could be, it is very different, it is somewhat different, it is slightly different, it is not different at all. Yeah. So this could be. Then the buying choices, how often you want to use this product. If you are willing to buy, how often you will buy this product. Let's say you will give choices like your more than once a week, yeah, twice a month or once a month, or I will never buy, right. So this could be your basic questions. So these questions will give you the, if you collect this kind of questions responses, will give you idea of what is the likelihood of your product working or not working and so on. That gives you let's say the categories or different types of users and so on. Okay. So you can, this is one option of what we discuss about your pure verbal description. The other one is could be, you can have a description with a sketch, like your picture of a can and with colorful orange flavor or something on the can cover and so on, right? That picture describes what it is, and then ask questions. Don't have the description just as a picture and something. The other option of testing the concept is typically prototype, design or build a prototype or models. You make them, give them a sample drink and ask them to test and give their opinion, right? This is where, so the compared to your description or descriptive models, this is more costly and takes at least trials. Let's say you have to give them also 3 or 4 flavors for trial, right? It's a, you can't just test one. So you will, it is more elaborate and costly. You need to be clear about what you are executing, whereas you are in the descriptive format, you can test multiple ideas. Some of the key choices in the concept testing, there is a debate whether you put price tag on that or you do not put, explicitly mention the price of the product or you don't mention. So there are two ideas here. One is, some say that you should do it because the customer is taking a decision on end to end, right? Let's say if I am buying that can of soft drink, my choice may change depending on whether it costs 50 rupees or 100 rupees, right? The other idea or other school of thought talks about do not put a price. The idea here is you collect customer insights only on the product. Do not bias them or do not influence them with the price choice. Let them say that, let's say you are doing a prototype testing, let them come back that this flavor sounds interesting or this is tasty, right? You should not first switch off or let's say get excited with the price. So the price thing you can decide later. Let's say the company can decide later where to price the product. At least at the customer insight level, you check only quality of the product or taste and so on, which is your reaction should be specifically on product, not the price, because price can influence your product decisions. Yeah? Also, when you are doing the concept testing, one of the key requirement is also to clearly identify or define your respondent group, who you should check with, right? Let's say it is for Gen Z or youngsters, you will then decide that you will, where, to whom you will target, what age group or what kind of people and so on. You will have clarity and decide in terms of your stakeholders. Yeah? Once you know your stakeholders or your respondent group, we can probably think about mode of reaching to them. Let's say you decided that this is a teenagers or college going students, then we will probably reach out to events or on Instagram, you go to, you put stalls in front of colleges and so on, right? You decide depending on where the stakeholders are around. So your mode of reaching or collecting the test insights depends on your stakeholder. Then you can decide whether it is you want to do it individually, like with emails or with Instagram, or you collect them in groups, like we discussed in your Lego case, doing as a focus group, right? Get the kids in a group, make them play and observe them. That's your, in a way, doing a concept testing in a group format. So we briefly discussed in this soft drink example what kind of question we are asking. So some other examples here is uniqueness of the concept. Let's say this drink, is it unique, or you are coming up with a toy or a mobile phone, does it solve any problem? Are we providing any solution or ease in terms of the usage, right? Believability of the concept, right? Let's say how much you like the concept. Let's say you do overselling on the drinks, right? It is a healthy drink and so on. Do they like it, or are they getting disillusioned by that, right? Let's say they'll say that, then you will check the level, what's the sugar content and all that, right? How does it sound, right? Importance of the problem, you will say how likely would they buy, right? Is the buying decision related. Ideally you can ask only one or two questions, because again, if you know that asking too many questions, customers can put off the customers. But you have to be clear what you want and what kind of questions you will collect, right? Some of these are just examples. Let's say how do you want to judge the interest on the concept, then you can collect reaction to the price. Is it realistic, practical, useful? Is that problems they see in the use, right? Is there any usage, is it good, right? Say think of, is is it handy, is it easier to carry. Let's say you are doing a laptop, let's say evaluation, you can see whether it is comfortable to carry and usage and so on, right? Is it getting heated, or some of those questions you can ask into your concept testing.